Hello and welcome to Narayana IAS. I'm Pratik, your faculty for daily news analysis. Students, in today's DNA session, we have selected 5 important topics from the Hindu and the Indian Express. So let's have a quick brief about the topics that we shall be discussing in today's DNA session. If you see the first topic we have taken from Hindu page number 6. Now this topic talks or speaks about how the digital space, the online space has become very unsafe for women. Why? Because the women are subject to online abuse, right? So we'll understand different dimensions in the first topic regarding the unsafe online spaces for women. The second topic we have taken from the text and context page from the Hindu, right? The question is, does data justify subdivision of the scheduled caste category? Which means, do we have sufficient data to subdivide the scheduled caste category and give reservation benefits to the most disadvantaged group or community in the scheduled caste category? This is the most important dimension that we have to understand. The third topic talks about nickel and how nickel is affecting the formation of cells in our body. The fourth talks about how India has made a remarkable progress to reduce the number of cases or number of cases of people who are suffering from tuberculosis. Right? This is the fourth topic. And the fifth topic talks about a Thadou community. Now, this community is indigenous to the state of Manipur, right? So, we'll discuss about this particular community and why this community has supported NRC, National Register for Citizens. So, these are the 5 topics that we shall be discussing in today's DNA session, right? And of course, followed by these 5 topics, we'll discuss few questions so that it will help you to understand if you understood all the 5 topics, right? So let's begin. So the title of the first topic is Big Techs Fail, Unsafe Online Spaces for Women, right? Now, as I told you, given now we know that women, right, they are considered to be vulnerable sections of our society. Now, given women are subject to online abuse and the women are, unable to maximize the usage of digital platform, here we are going to understand the challenges the women face and how the women are subject to online abuse and what we can do, to ensure that women are in a position to maximize the usage of social platform or digital space. And then you can map this under mains, GS paper 2. Under GS paper 2 we have governance, right? So there's a question asked in the year 2019. What are the continued challenges for women in India against time and space? So continued challenges for women. So this part of the question, I guess once we understand the topic, we'll be in a position to address some part of the question, right? So questions on women or the vulnerable section of the society can be asked in the examination. Now, what is the context? See, there's a lot of content, right? But focus on what I'm speaking. You get the DNA notes. Through DNA notes, you can read the content. But while I'm speaking, just focus on what I speak and the points that I explain. What is the context? There's so many people who use internet, right? If I talk about India, 50 crore people use internet in our country, and of the 50 crore, a significant portion, right, it belongs to women, which means of the 50 crore women who use internet, and women constitute a significant portion. However, if we see that this online participation that women using internet is leading to gender targeted abuse, which means the online space is targeting women. Gender targeted abuse. This is affecting the dignity of women, respect of women, right? Now you see, online engagement, the number of people using internet has increased, still increasing year on year. Digital space, online space has become central to our political social life. Don't you think so? What do you say? Social media, the internet has become very, very central to our political and social life. And given the challenges we are facing from the online space, digital space, it is very important to address these particular challenges. Now, high profile women, the women who are in politics or for that matter business, they are subject to online harassment. They are objectified. They are targeted. For example, if we talk about a finance minister, right, who is a lady, people do not talk about the policies or the decisions she takes just because she's a woman. At times, many of the abuses are heard against her just because she's a woman, which means our society is not in that position to accept women as a leader. For example, when Indira Gandhi became the prime minister, right, the society, or for that matter, people of her own party were not happy to see a woman as a leader. Are getting my point? And it's not only high profile women are subject to online harassment, even the ordinary women, they are subject to online harassment. And if this continues, this actually discourages women to come out in the open and express their opinions or use the digital or let's say online space. So the context is that with more number of people using internet, and of this number, a significant portion is that of women, which means as more number of people are using internet, it is very important to prevent the harassment, the abuse the women are facing every day, which means we have to make the digital space, online space safe for women. This is the context. I hope you understood the context. This is the data that I have mentioned in the context. You can note it down from the daily notes, which will help you in your mains examination. I hope you understood the context. Now, here we'll try to understand the role of artificial intelligence. How artificial intelligence is spreading disinformation or misinformation, right? How it is spreading disinformation and how it is leading to harassment. Now, advanced artificial intelligence like deepfake. Have you heard of this term deepfake? So, in deepfake, right, this deep fake videos, it looks like real videos. For example, let's say some high profile person, right, they manipulate the videos in such a way that the video looks real. Let's say, for example, Narendra Modi is speaking something against women, let's say. In real, he has not said it, but using artificial intelligence, they produce video of Narendra Modi who is speaking against women. It's not a real video, but they make the video look real. This is known as deepfake. And such deepfakes has intensified online abuse. Such deepfakes, they misrepresent women. It misrepresents women. So if you see this AI generated content which is manipulated, it exploits the biases. For example, we know the society is biased towards men. We are living in a male dominated society. Don't you think so? So this artificial intelligence, which is nothing but a technology, this is exploiting the bias existing in the society, right? Which means, for example, the women are not given the same status as that of men, right? So this artificial intelligence is reinforcing such stereotype, is spreading misinformation, is spreading disinformation. Artificial intelligence. harmful stereotypes. What is stereotyping? For example, if you see, women are objectified, women are considered as objects. For example, you must have heard this, right? That these days, or it's being continued since a long time, that the women or the actress who have a sexual appeal are taken in the movies. The director does, or the director or producer doesn't see if she has a skill or acting skills. Based on her sexual appeal, they decide if the actress has to be taken in a movie or not. Which means here, if you see, the women are being objectified. This is a problem. And this artificial intelligence, it reinforces such stereotypes regarding women. And such fake news, it garners or it attracts many people on the platform. This is what the content creators want. If you see social media platform, right, such videos which objectifies women, which shows women in a negative light, such videos get maximum number of views and likes. And given that social media is somewhere responsible for spreading this narrative against women, moderation, which means we have to control the content available on social media, which means we have to moderate the content, right? Now see, I hope you understood how technology is making the condition of women in the digital space worse. It is reinforcing the stereotype, the bias that we see in the society against women. The technology is adopting the same thing. Now let us try to understand the role of social media companies like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Now, big tech companies like Facebook and Twitter, for that matter, Instagram, they avoid responsibility. What they say, that we are giving a platform, people are generating content, people are making content, and they are uploading it. How are we responsible? The question is whether these companies like Instagram or Facebook or YouTube are responsible, should be responsible, or should not be responsible. Now see, the content moderation policies. For example, if you see that if you open, let's say, Instagram, and let's say, for example, if you come across any video which is explicit, which is very insulting, right, then you have an option wherein you can report that particular video, or for that matter, the companies like Instagram and Facebook will refrain from uploading that video. We have such policies. The companies do have such policies. For example, if you upload porn video, the social media does not accept it. Of course, there are many manipulations, uh, technical skills people have through which they try to upload the video using various you know uh, various means, right? But if you see that we have content moderation policies, the companies have adopted these policies, but somewhere implementation is very weak. The implementation is not consistent. So for example, as I told you, there are some social media platform that provides people the option to report a particular video. If you do not like the video, you have the freedom to report the video. But again, action, there is no action taken, or even if the action is taken, it is taken after a long time. By that time, the damage must have already been done. Let's say, for example, someone is abusing against a particular religion, or let's say a particular caste. Now people report it. It takes time, to erase or remove that video from social media. By that time, people download that movie or download that particular video, which means damage has already been done, right? Then somewhere, the companies, For example, let's say I am owning Facebook. What do I want? I want more and more people should use Facebook so that I get or my profit increases, right? Which means the tech companies are preferring or are prioritizing user engagement. They want more people to come on their platform rather than protecting the rights of people. Their focus is more on user engagement than safeguarding people's data. Which means, yes, these social media companies should be held accountable, but somewhere there are loopholes that we need to plug in. Now, addressing gender bias in technology. Gender bias in technology. Now, see, the artificial intelligence systems, right? These systems, they work on data sets. The systems, they work on data sets. The question is, who makes the data sets? It is the common people. Let's say, for example, if you see in a company, let's say there are 50 people who are working, right? Out of 50 people, 40 are male, they are men. So, if you see that the content moderation policies or the data sets that AI systems depend on is made by common people, and common people are biased towards men or towards men. They are biased against women. So the artificial intelligence system is dependent on the data set. The data set is already biased. Why? Because human beings are developing these data sets. And who are the human beings? They are the common people like us who are again biased. We are living in a male dominated society, which means the artificial intelligence system, it is reflecting the society. And this bias, it affects content moderation tools. Now, what is content moderation tools? Let's say, for example, if a video is insulting women or is explicit towards women, then this tool will take down that particular video. But because of the bias, the moderation tools are those tools through which the content can be moderated. Which means there's a video which is insulting towards women. Now this tool should remove that particular video. But as that tool is developed by human beings who are patriarchal, the tools is not effective. And that's the reason the companies like Facebook, Instagram should prioritize diverse representation, which means we should have men, women, transgenders. So there has to be diversity in the representation in the companies. Now see, in India we have these laws, right? These are all the laws that punish people who post insulting videos. So these are the legal mechanism or regulatory mechanism that addresses online harassment in our country, right? Then for example, we have the cyber crime reporting portal under National Crime Records Bureau, where you can uh, lodge complaints against online harassment. Then we have cyber police stations, cyber crime cells, cyber forensic training labs in these cities. So you can read by your own. This is very factual, which means we have legal mechanism as well as regulatory mechanism through which we regulate the online content or punish people who are harassing using the digital space. Now, what is the solution? We have to strengthen content moderation. What does it mean? Which means we have to make sure that the tools that human beings develop should be effective. What does it mean? Which means if any video that is very insulting or very explicit, such video should be taken down immediately. We have to enhance the content moderation tools so that before the damage is done, the social media companies are removing such videos from the platform. You have to enhance, strengthen content moderation. Second is introduce strict penalties, which means the government should penalize the companies who are not taking action against the users who are, objectifying women or harassing women. Or for that matter, the government should punish the companies who do not enforce content moderation policies, right? Then promote ethical AI development, which means artificial intelligence should be ethical, which means that the technology that we are developing should not be biased against a particular section of the society, a particular gender, right? Which means that technology should not harm anyone. It should be ethical, it should be moral. Again, this is a very, very vague and subjective term, but the point is the technology that we develop should not harass or trouble anyone. For that, we need to have inclusive representation of different genders, of that matter, different sections of the society. Then enhance legal protections and oversight, which means the legal provisions should be very, very strict. There has to be oversight. The government should oversee the operation of these companies and make sure that the companies are held accountable. And last, we have to make sure that more and more women are represented in developing the content moderation tools, which means if the women are responsible to develop content moderation policies, the women would make sure that no video which is objectifying women is allowed to run on social media. They'll remove such video, right? So these are the steps that we have to take in order to ensure that the online or digital space is safe for women, right? I hope since you understood the first topic. What is the first topic? To make sure that the online space is safe for women. I hope you understood how the technology, is spreading misinformation, is, resulting in online harassment against women, and what we can do in order to prevent such harassment against women, right? Okay. Now let's focus on the second topic. What is the second topic? Does data justify subdivision of quotas? So you'll understand this quota within quota system. What exactly is quota within quota system in India? Right? And you can map this both under prelims as well as means. In means, we have GS paper 2, and in GS paper 2, we have government policies and interventions for development in various sectors, right? Let's start with the PYQ. So, the PYQ asked in the year 2018. What's the question? Whether National Commission for Scheduled Castes can enforce the implementation of constitutional reservation for the scheduled caste in the religious minority institutions. Very, very important question asked in the year 2018, which means questions on OBCs, SCs, STs can be asked in the examination. And this topic that we'll be discussing today is on the scheduled castes. Okay, so what is the context? The context is that there is a debate, okay? And what is the debate about? That whether there should be subcategories in the scheduled caste. Let's say, for example, this is a scheduled caste category. Now, scheduled caste category comprises of many communities, hundreds of different communities. For example, under OBCs, we have multiple hundreds of communities under OBCs, other backward classes. Similarly, under scheduled caste category, we have many or multiple communities. Now, the reports or data indicates that some scheduled caste community in the scheduled caste category are the most disadvantaged, which means few communities in the scheduled caste category, they do not enjoy any benefit that the government of India or government of the state gives to the SC category of the population. The question is, should we give a quota within quota? This is quota within quota, which means should we give reservation to the most disadvantaged community in the scheduled caste category? For example, let's say the reservation given to SC category is, let's say, 15%, which means, and let's say for example there are 10 scheduled caste communities that are the most disadvantaged. So, can we, out of 15%, can we give 3% reservation only and only to this 10 scheduled caste communities? This is a question, and this question has gained momentum. Why? Because there is a perception or few reports point out that not all the communities in the SC category are getting benefits. This is the context. I hope you understood the context. See, what was the purpose of reservation? The purpose of reservation was to uplift certain communities that were historically, discriminated. Which means since centuries, the communities that were discriminated, which means these people were not given any jobs, right? They were not allowed to take education, and that's the reason there are certain communities in our country that have remained very, very backward. And that's the reason we came up with reservation. For example, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, who was the chief architect of the constitution, he felt the need to provide reservation to the most disadvantaged community in our country, and that is the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes. Which means the purpose was to transform legal equality into substantive equality. What is legal equality? Which means the law says that everyone are equal. There should be no discrimination in the name of religion, caste. For example, let's say there are two people, A and B, and this is a rich person belonging to upper caste, and this person is poor person and belonging to lower caste. Now, legal equality says that in the eyes of the law, both are equal, and if this person is getting benefit, even this person should get benefit. And substantive equality goes beyond legal equality in terms of outcomes. Substantive equality says that, this person has money to seek education, right? His father, or let's say his parents, are already in government services or are very, very influential. So he doesn't require the support of the state. This person who is poor, whose parents are illiterate, they are very, very poor, right? Has no money to seek education. The government should help such people. This is substantive equality simple, which means the government should help these people to access education, and also these people should be given reservation in the government jobs. Why? Because there are certain communities in our country who since many years, centuries, were not given access to education, neither were given jobs in the government. So now, after getting independence, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar said that such communities who are historically discriminated should be given reservation. That's the reason we give reservation, and we gave reservation to the SCs and STs post independence, and then after the Mandal Commission 1989, we also started giving reservation to the other backward classes. Now, what is the current debate? Now, the Supreme Court recently questioned the effectiveness of the reservation system. The Supreme Court asked, the reservation system that we are following since since the time of independence, is it really effective? Is it really helping the most disadvantaged or the most poorest community in our country? Why? Because there were few reports that indicated that certain communities who were poor back then, post independence or since centuries, are still poor, right? So the question is, if these people who were poor since many years back and are still poor, then is the reservation policy helping such most deserving people or most deserving community, is the question. That's the reason Supreme Court questioned the effectiveness of the reservation system. That is where the proposal came that there should be a quota within quota, which means, let's say, as I told you, that if this is a scheduled caste category and there are multiple communities under SC category, and let's say these 10 communities are the poorest or most disadvantaged, then there should be a specific quota for these 10. So if let's say 15% reservation is given to SCs, out of 15%, let's say 3% should be given to these 10 communities. Now, few states have tried this sub-categorization of the scheduled caste. For example, Punjab. States like Punjab and Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu have experimented with giving specific quota to certain communities that are or that were considered as the most disadvantaged. For example, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Punjab. In Punjab, we saw that post implementing the quota within quota, which means giving a certain percentage of reservation to the most disadvantaged community. For example, in Punjab, we have the Mazhabi Sikhs that come under SC and who are the most disadvantaged community. So in Punjab, we saw that post sub-categorization of SCs, the situation of that community enhanced, it improved. But the observation was not the same in all the states. For example, in Andhra Pradesh, the disparities were very, very minimal. In Bihar, for example, there's a sub-categorization of SCs, right? For example, there's a category, Mahadalit category. Now, because of the political complexity, the non-deserving communities are also brought under this particular Mahadalit category, which means the observation post sub-categorization of S is not the same in every state or in the state that implemented or that practices sub-categorization of SCs. At the same time, the lack of caste certificate. See, in order to get benefit, right, you need caste certificate. And if you do not have caste certificate, then you do not get the benefit. You do not get, admission in the government institutions or let's say in the government jobs. For example, if you see Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, less than 50% people only have caste certificate. Majority of them do not have caste certificate. So if they do not have caste certificate, how would they get benefit? Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, in Tamil Nadu and Andhra, 60 to 70% people have caste certificates. See, the question is, we have to ensure that the scheduled caste, right, all the communities falling under scheduled caste should get access to the government benefits. Now political dynamics. So as I told you with respect to Bihar, there's a Mahadalit category in Bihar. But because of the political dynamics, political complexity, or because of the way the politics is misused in our country, non-deserving communities were also brought under Mahadalit category. See, such political decisions at times can undermine the utility of policy. We make policy to benefit a particular community, right, or a particular category. But if political compulsions or evidence, without evidence, if the politicians are taking decisions or if their decisions are not backed by evidence, then the policy will lose its utility. The policy gets undermined. And that's the reason, if there is no empirical evidence, that is, if we do not have data, then decision cannot be made. And if you are making the decision without having evidence, then that raises questions about the integrity of the reservation process. Which means, in short, you need to have data to take decisions. If you are taking decisions without data, then that raises questions about the reservation or the way we practice reservation in our country. Which means only the most deserving people should get the reservation benefit. Simple. And that's the reason, comprehensive data. We need data. Why? So as to understand the caste based disparity, which means we need information, we need data to understand which caste or which category of community or which community is the most disadvantaged, so that we can make reformation in the reservation system. As of now, we do not have data. Why? Because the census which was to be held or carried out in the year 2021 is getting delayed. Which means we do not have a data post 2011. So if you do not have data, how can you make decisions? Is a question. So if the subcategorization of the scheduled caste category has to happen at the pan India level throughout the country. So if the government of India wants that, there should be subcategorization within the scheduled caste, then the government would require reliable data, and that can only happen post the census, which is getting delayed. Now see, talking about economic mobility and impact on social discrimination. See, it's not that the condition of scheduled caste is not getting better. It is getting better, but gradually. Now, the people whose economic condition has improved, right? Let's talk about a particular family in the Dalit category or the SC category. They have raised or they are rising through the economic ladder. Their economic condition is getting better. But the problem is, there is still discrimination against that particular family. Why? Because that person comes under SC. Which means, despite that family is rising up the economic ladder, the economic condition is getting improved, but still there is caste based discrimination. Why? Because since centuries, there are certain castes in our country, and these castes have certain social stigma. These castes are, treated very badly in our country. They are looked down upon, right? Which means, because of such, caste based identity or caste based discrimination, our country is still finding it difficult to integrate the scheduled caste community in the mainstream society because of the caste based identity and discrimination. So, what is the future? First and foremost, we have to make sure that the policies or the benefits that the government of India or the government of state gives should be accessible by all the scheduled caste communities. One thing is very, very important, right? Which means no category or no caste should be left out of the benefit that the government provides. Second, we have to recognize the fact that the scheduled caste category is not homogeneous. It's not one and the same. There is heterogeneity. There's diversity in the SC category. We have to recognize that there is diversity. There are different communities under the SC category, and few communities are poorest or most disadvantaged. The third, the government or the policymaker should focus more on the data collection. Only when you have data, you can make changes in the reservation system. And so, reliable data is very, very important. And last, once we have the data, we can refine the affirmation policies or reservation benefits so as to ensure that the reservation policy is relevant and effective. As of now, it is not entirely relevant, not entirely irrelevant, right? So we have to fine tune the reservation policies so as to ensure that reservation or the tool of reservation is genuinely used for social justice and empowerment of the disadvantaged community. The reservation tool should not, become a political tool. The reservation tool should genuinely be used for social justice and empowerment. This should be the ultimate purpose. I hope you understood the second topic, right? Now, let's focus on the third topic. What is the third topic? Checking a contagion, right? Now, this article talks about tuberculosis, and you can map this under GS paper, prelims as well as means GS paper 2 and 3. In 2, we discuss about health, right? In 3, we discuss about science and technology and the advancement we make in the science and technology field. Now see, a question was asked on Zika virus. So question can also be asked on tuberculosis. That's the reason when it comes to virus, bacterial infection, you need to have sufficient information. Now, what is the context? The World Health Organization has said that India has made remarkable progress. Who has said this? WHO has said that India has made remarkable progress in reducing the number of cases relating to tuberculosis, which means the number of cases of tuberculosis in our country has come down. Come down from 17.7% to just 8.3%. So with a 17.7% decline from 2015 to 2023. This is more than the global average of 8.3%. So this is a remarkable feat. Now, what is tuberculosis? First and foremost, the points that you need to remember for examination. See, the first two topics that we discussed were for mains examination. So, we dealt more about the analysis. We dealt analysis part, or we analyze those two topics, right? So, these topics, the earlier two topics, were important for mains, and means you need to have a decent understanding and analysis of the topics. The next three topics that we'll be discussing are prelims related. In prelims related, you need to know the topic and few facts related or important for your prelims examination, right? Now, first and foremost that you need to remember is that tuberculosis is a bacterial infection. It's not a viral infection. It is caused by bacteria and not virus. Very important point for your prelims. What's the name of the bacteria? This name of the bacteria. This TB, it affects your lungs. And anything that affects your lungs is referred to as, in the medical language, pulmonary TB. But once the TB worsens, it can also affect the other organs. As of now, in the primary stage, it affects the lungs. In the advanced stage, it also affects the other organs which is referred to as extrapulmonary TB. Right? Second. Third, it spreads through airborne droplets. That is when a person, coughs or sneezes, the air droplets that, transmit through the air can also affect other person, right? So this point is very, very, very important, the third point. And then this TB is one of the top infectious killer, right? Now with over 10 million people falling ill each year and 1.5 million deaths. So 1.5 is almost roughly 15 lakhs. 10 million is 1 crore. So 1 crore people fall ill because of tuberculosis every year in the world, out of which 15 lakh people die. Right? So all these points are these 3 points are very important for your prelims examination. Bacterial lungs, and third one is airborne droplets. And which are the key symptoms? Now key symptoms, try to remember, these are the key symptoms and few data. Again, this data is not important, right? But the first data, right, that is 1 crore people are affected globally and leading to 15 lakh death. This data is important. This data, mention it. If you want to use it, you can use it, right? But these are the key symptoms. Again, you don't have to mug up the symptoms, just go through the symptoms. But the 3 points that I discussed in the first slide, very, very important for your prelims. Now, in order to treat, right, in order to treat tuberculosis, we have antimicrobial drugs. We have drugs which can cure TB. Antimicrobial, why? Because microorganism is affecting your body. So to defeat the microorganisms, we have antimicrobial drugs. And which are these drugs? These are the 4 types of drugs. Again, you don't have to mug up all the drugs. Just try to read it in the passing reference. Now again, see, there are variants of tuberculosis. These are the 2 variants of tuberculosis, which means at times the drugs that are administered or given to patients suffering from tuberculosis are not effective. Which means there are variants of tuberculosis that does not respond to the drugs given to a person. For example, during COVID, right, the vaccine that was given to people, like few of the people, or the virus was not, or the infection for that vaccine was not defeating the virus, which means that there are few variants of tuberculosis that is not effective to the drugs, which means despite giving the drugs, the tuberculosis or the bacteria refuses to die. These are the variants. Again, not very important, but these are the variants that you have to remember. Now, this is very, very important as part of your prelims examination. These are the initiatives undertaken by Government of India to eliminate tuberculosis. For example, we have this National Strategic Plan for Tuberculosis Elimination until 2025. Then we have Pradhan Mantri TB Mukta Bharat Abhiyan. Then we have Nikshay Poshan Abhiyan. Then we have Mukta Panchayat Initiative. Then we have Nikshay Sampark, and then we have Tribal TB Initiative. So this all is factual. Please go through it, right, and try to remember these points for your prelims as well as for your mains examination, right? So what you all remember about this particular topic? First, bacterial information, bacterial infection. Then the second one is it's a airborne, it transmits through air, right? And then you have to remember the variants of TB. At the same time, the vaccine or the drugs available to cure TB, and most importantly, the policies undertaken by the government to eliminate TB, right? The first slide and this slide, these 2 slides are the most important slides that you have to remember for your prelims examination. Now let's focus on the 4th topic. Manipur's Thadou community extends support to NRC. So you'll understand about the Thadou community, which is important for both prelims as well as mains. In mains, we have arts and culture, GS paper 1 topic. See, the question was asked in the year 14 on the Manganeers. Similarly, a question can also be asked on the Thadou community. What is the context? This community which inhabits the Manipur state or which live in the Manipur state have said that we support NRC. What is NRC? National Register of Citizens. What do you mean by NRC? Now this NRC is a document of the residents of that particular state. So for example, as of now, we only have NRC for the state of Assam. We do not have NRC for any other state, but we only have for Assam, and that is also disputed. Now this NRC, if you find a name in the NRC, which means you are resident of that particular state, and if your name is not, not there in the NRC, which means you are not a resident, which means you are illegal migrant. And this community of Manipur has supported the government. Why? Because the government wants to implement NRC, which means the government of Manipur wants to find out who are the residents of the state and who are the migrants that have come from, let's say, Bangladesh or Myanmar. Got it? This is the context. Now, as this community is in the news, you need to know certain facts about this community for your prelims examination. Like, for example, it is the oldest and largest non-Naga tribe in Manipur. Very important. Second, it has been recognized as separate community, right? And then it was granted as ST status in the year 1956. It is indigenous, which means it has been living in that state for centuries, right? It is native to that particular state. Then these are some factual information. They are known for their rich cultural traditions. Then, right, they celebrate this particular festival. Then they speak this languages. They worship this particular god. Again, very, very important points for your prelims. All these are factual. So please read by your own. And these are the economic activities: subsistence, agriculture, animal domestication, hunting, fishing, And what are the current challenges? We know that in Manipur, right, the Meitei and Kuki tribes are fighting against each other. Now, this Thadou community, is directly or indirectly has become a part of this conflict. Now, somewhere, few people, or let's say few communities, they see Thadou community as part of the Kuki community. But the Thadou community says that we are a separate and independent community. We are not part of the Kuki community. Right? This is the challenge that they are facing, and they have supported NRC. Right? So these are few factual information that you need to know about the Thadou community in the state of Manipur. So a question can be asked that Thadou community recently seen in the news is indigenous to which of the following states? Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura. Correct answer is Manipur. As a reason, you need to know about the community. The last, fifth topic. What is the topic? Unexpected connection between nickel toxicity, cholesterol found, right? So this article is very, very technical in nature, but given the way or given the pattern with which UPSC has been asking questions on certain minerals, it is important to understand what is nickel and the usage of nickel, right? So if you see, we'll understand about nickel toxicity and sterol biosynthesis in this particular article, right? And this is important for both prelims as well as mains. Now, again a question was asked on fly ash in the year 2015. So a question can also be asked on nickel. Now, a recent study has found out that there is a connection between nickel toxicity and sterol biosynthesis. So what exactly is this? And this we'll understand in the topic. First of all, what is nickel? Nickel is nothing but it is an element, metallic element. Again a point for your friends. It is a metallic element. What is the symbol? Ni. Atomic number 28. It is known for its corrosion resistance, which means it does not rust and it is very durable, right? So it is used in many appliances. Very important point for your prelims. Then this one is again not that important, but it is suitable for high temperature applications. Another important point or characteristics about nickel for your prelims exam. It is good conductor of electricity, which means you can use it in the electric appliances. There is less chance of short circuit as nickel is a good conductor of electricity, which means you can use it in the electronic appliances like mobile phones, laptops, etc. So 1, 2, 3 very important for your prelims. So they can give a statement about nickel, or let's say 3 statements about nickel, and they might ask you to identify the correct statement about nickel. So these characteristics is important for you to know. Now, why do we use nickel? In making stainless steel and alloys. We use it in the batteries, we use it in the jewelry and accessories, we use it in the coins, electronics, as well as medical and dental application. These are the diverse usages of an element called nickel, right? Stainless steel, in the medical field, batteries. So try to remember the usage of nickel. Again, very factual. Now see, what is nickel toxicity? Though the usage of nickel is abundant, but the recent report have identified or reported that nickel acts as an allergen or carcinogen. For example, people wear jewelry, right? So nickel is used in the jewelry, and this jewelry actually rubs against your skin. So it affects people who are less sensitive to nickel, who are sensitive to nickel, right? And carcinogen, what is it? It's a cancer causing substance, which means the reports have identified that long exposure to nickel can also, infect cancer in a person. That's the reason it is important to know about this particular element. It affects the cells. Cells, they make a human being. So it also affects it interferes with the biological process. What? Nickel. I hope you understood what is nickel, the characteristics, the properties, and what do we mean by nickel toxicity. See, causing skin reactions in sensitive individuals. Now, what is sterol biosynthesis? See, sterol is a molecule. It is a molecule in a human being. Now, this sterol is made or is developed by cells. Now, the mechanism through which cells become sterols is known as sterol biosynthesis. What is sterol? It is a molecule. It strengthens the cell membrane. Right? Now, to understand this, you need to have basic idea or information about the formation of cells. But in question or in the prelims examination, you need to remember that this sterol biosynthesis is a biochemical process. Right? Now, as I told you, sterol, what is it? It's an organic molecule with a structure consisting of 4 carbon rings. For example, in the human beings or let's say animals, we have cholesterol. So choles, say this is choles and this is found in animal membranes. Then in the plants we have phytosterols. Then in the fungals or fungi, we have the fungal sterols. So the point is, there is a connection between nickel toxicity and sterol biosynthesis, which means the nickel toxicity disrupts the sterol biosynthesis, which means the mechanism through which cells are converted into the sterols. This mechanism is disrupted because of nickel toxicity. I hope you understood what is nickel toxicity and sterol biosynthesis. This is all what you need to know for your prelims examination. That's it, students. We discussed 5 topics, 2 related to mains and 3 related to prelims. Now it's time to discuss few questions, right, so that you understand or you get to know if you have understood all the 5 topics. The first topic is of the Thadou community in Manipur. So please read the question options, pause the video and try to answer the question, or I request you to post the answer in the comment box, or any question that you are not understood or are confused, please drop it in the comment box. So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is option B. Next, regarding nickel toxicity. Now, nickel exposure is associated with respiratory issues and allergic reactions in sensitized individuals. Yes. Nickel is considered non-toxic. No, it is considered toxic and is not safe for human beings. Right. So, I request you to pause the video and try to correct the and post the answer in the comment box. So, here the answer is option A. Next, about tuberculosis. Now, tuberculosis, right, is caused by a virus, right, that primarily affects the lungs but also impact other organs. Yes. Second, multi-drug resistant TB requires a treatment duration of 18 to 24 months due to resistance to certain first line drugs. Yes. And then BCG is currently the only licensed vaccine available for TB prevention. Yes. All the 3 statements are correct for question number 3. Though I did not discuss the third statement, I request you to please make a note of this third statement for your, tuberculosis topic. Now let us discuss 2 mains based questions. Question is, evaluate the arguments regarding the need for subdivision of quotas within the scheduled caste category in India. Does data justify this subdivision? So, introduction, body and conclusion, 3 parts. In the introduction, you write about this subcategorization, the concept of subcategorization of SCs and why the debate surrounding the subcategorization has gained momentum. You write in the introduction. In the body, write down or specify points for and against. For example, in the body, you can give examples of the states of Punjab, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, or let's say for example Bihar. So in the body, you can start by mentioning the concept behind reservation, right? To provide reservation to the communities that were historically discriminated. Then access to education and access to government job, etc., etc. And then why there is a need or demand for subcategorization, because not all the communities under SC are benefiting, right? And then in the body, you can also mention that to frame a policy, you need strong evidence, you need data. Then you can also mention that because of lack of empirical evidence, as of now, making a policy pan-India level is not justified. For that, we need to have census based on the data, based on the socio-economic status of the scheduled caste category or communities under SC. We can take this. But in the conclusion, again, you have to make sure that, to mention that, we have to ensure that the excess of reservation or benefits of reservation or benefits of the affirmative action is enjoyed or accessible by all the scheduled caste category people, right? We have to again in the conclusion ensure that we ensure that reservation tool is used in its most effective manner for what? To make sure that we have social justice. We are fighting for social justice and empowerment of the most disadvantaged community. In the DNA notes, you would find the answer for this particular question. You can read it and try to attempt or write the answer by your own. This is the answer. You can read it and try to now. I told you how to write the answer. I request you to write the answer by your own, and then you can refer to the DNA notes to ascertain the quality of your answer. Next, discuss the impact of AI and deepfake technology on online harassment faced by women in India. What measures can be taken to enhance the safety and security of women in the digital space? Again, in the introduction, you can mention how the rapid advancement of AI or how the usage of artificial intelligence is subjecting women to online abuse, where women are objectified, stereotyped, they are harassed, that shakes the dignity and confidence of women. And then in the body, you can mention about the impact of AI, right? How it misrepresents the women, and it also affects the dignity of women, how the misinformation is spread rapidly because of artificial intelligence. And then I can also mention that how AI relies on data set, and these data sets are developed by common people, and these common people somewhere represent the biases in the society. And then the measures, the IT Act, right, the BNS. Then you can talk about the content moderation, the cyber police station. Then under the National Crime Records Bureau, we have reporting cyber crime reporting portal. So all these measures that you can mention. And finally, in the conclusion or in the way forward, you can mention that content moderation policies have to be strengthened. We have to promote ethical AI. There has to be public awareness, etc. That we already discussed in the topic. Right, students? So that's it from our DNA analysis. I hope you understood all the 5 topics, right? Make sure that you are making a note of it. Make sure you are revising all the topics that we are discussing, and make sure you're well prepared for the examination. On this note, I'll call it a wrap. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you spread the message, you like, you subscribe, and share the videos as much as possible, so that the information, that the knowledge we impart you reaches maximum number of people. Thank you so much.